Hello and welcome to another episode of A Ghost in the Magazine. I'm Steph.
And I'm Elle.
I'm Matt.
I'm Al.
And we're back to 31 Days of Horror. I'm so excited. Yay!
Yay. Can I just say it's good to see you guys again? It's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been on a 31 Days of Horror episode?
No, I haven't.
Oh, this is so juicy. I'm so happy.
I'm a
so
big
happy.
time virgin.
Oh, well, we're ending that today.
Wouldn't have it any other way. Surrounded on a video chat, yes.
Okay, well, this is a short week. We only watched 3 movies.
You say only. I don't know how you do it. It's just, I don't have the time.
Well, we're superstars here, and it's a holiday basically. 31 Days of Horror, watching a scary movie every night. In the month of October, we're recording this early, but yeah, that. So, what is October without subjecting yourself to movies that may or may not be great in the horror genre, right? So this is no different. So like every year, I mean, we kind of switch things up a little bit, but we're going to rank these bad boys from worst to best.
Yeah.
How we're doing it?
Yeah.
Okay. From worst to best. So my picks, Portal is the fucking worst. I mean, they're not great choices. I feel like Portal, Butterfly Kisses, and then 1408.
I'm gonna switch that up a little bit. Portal's definitely the worst. I'm going 1408 after that, and then Butterfly Kisses.
Portal is the worst, but it was the one that I had the most fun with. So I'm probably gonna do 1408 at the bottom, Butterfly Kisses, and then Portal.
So my ranking is the same as Matt.
It always is.
I love you guys.
I don't know what that says about me, but
You got problems.
You're my favorites. That's what it says.
Thanks.
You're so welcome. Okay.
So how do you do this? So do we just talk about all 3 like interchangeable, or do we do like one, then the other, then the other?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about them in order. Elle chooses the order.
yes, we're gonna start with Portal. We're just gonna get right in to that one.
There's not much to say about it anyway.
No, there's not. I was very bored. It's only an hour and 15 minutes. Thank God. Thank God they respected me in that way. I don't mean to be aggressive, but oof.
1408 sure as fuck did it. That's what I have to say about that.
That was a decent short film.
Portal?
1408. We'll talk about it. We'll get to it.
I did look up reviews that I thought were ridiculous for all of these, but I could not do that for this movie because I couldn't find a review because nobody gives a fuck enough to write a review.
Well, now we have a mission.
There we go. So
it will not be kind.
It's truly shit.
Okay, but who was I telling? Was it Al? I said the bonuses was that it's short, and Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street is in it. She's not in it for very long, and I was very confused about what she was doing there, but I was happy to see her.
Yeah.
And Ryan Merriman from The Luck of the Irish.
Yeah.
The channel original.
I was like, why do you look so familiar, and why am I getting like war
Ryan
flashbacks?
Merriman. I mean, that's all I remember about the movie, honestly. I just watched it. Like, hi, Kitty.
You say hello.
The acting was very bad.
Yeah, it was.
And that guy's hateable as much as a character can be.
Yeah.
And I find a lot of similarities between him and the dude from Butterfly Kisses.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, yes.
Hated them both.
Also, we have the magical indigenous character trope in here, which I personally, it's offensive. I don't like it.
It is.
Yeah, I'm a little allergic to that because, like, okay, that's the Portal is the one. Is Portal the one where he peed on the rock?
Yeah.
And that's what activated the
He
ghost.
peed on the Carcosa rock. Yeah.
And the guy, okay, here's what got me. Okay, it's literally like we've seen some ominous shit in some bad movies. Okay, we watched a lot of movies on this podcast. It was literally a fucking swirl
Yes.
shot onto a rock with stick figures, and this man flips his shit. So that's some like hoodoo voodoo shit right there. And I'm like, what a cracker thing to say. That is so ignorant. You probably drew it.
Listen, why did she bury it with a headstone if she didn't want it to be found?
Yeah.
Right. She might as well just drawn a fucking down arrow.
She did.
She did.
Oh. Oh yeah.
It just took the magical piss to activate
Yeah.
it.
They had to pull the
Oh,
midsummer
yeah.
and pee on the sacred rock to be able to unlock the next half of the movie.
Well, speaking of that, I wish I was jumping off of a rock while I was watching this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have liked to be the old man from Midsummer.
Oh,
Just
drama.
hold hands and just leap.
Yeah. It's time to eat us, delete us. You can't finish.
Also, the other interesting thing about this spiral that he said was he called it a spiritual mandala.
She did say that, didn't he?
And
Stop.
it's like, how many different cultures can you shit on in one
That's a
tirade,
lot.
brother?
Okay. Sorry, this movie is slowly coming back to me. While we're talking shit, this is also the one, right, where he was gonna give up everything after his partner's paying, like paying for everything. He's like, oh, just fuck it. She's like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Pay $5,000 to what is it, an enemy ghost hunter?
Yeah. This one's, what was the title of the file? This one's like definitely off limits or some
Limit.
shit.
And he's you're not gonna give him just all this access to your stuff.
Hey, that
No.
was a really cool guy in that 2011 BMW. Or was it a
his
Benz? I
bitchin'
can't remember.
car. His
Yeah.
bitchin' car.
His vision car.
I
That
can't.
that ghost hunting team was douchebaggins coded too. Like it was
Yes,
supposed to be
yeah.
that.
I immediately yelled, "It's giving Zach Baggins!"
Yes.
Mhm.
I was by myself.
It's awful.
As someone who has seen all 26 seasons of Ghost Adventures, I was like, oh, I know this, and I know exactly where they're pulling this from, and it's ridiculous. And part of it is, again, as a huge paranormal TV junkie, I'm like, this is endearing because it's stupid. I find the familiarity in the stupid.
We didn't do that, but we did cover Demon House one
We
time.
did.
Why?
I prefer Ghost Facers, the fictional ghost hunters from Supernatural. Ghost Facers.
Speaking of supernatural, the character that kept turning on the weird music in the car and saying this is God's music reminded me of Bobby from Supernatural.
Yes.
Lead singer.
Never seen that show, but
Oh,
you did take offense when I mentioned that somebody from, what was it? What was that third Mike Flanagan series that came out? Midnight Mass.
Midnight
And I
Mass.
said that guy looked like a poor man's Jensen Ackles or
Yeah,
whatever.
that was disrespectful,
You
and
got
I
so mad.
never talk to me like that again. Never.
Constantly offending. It's fine. I mean, nothing happens. Like they go to that first location. It's like, oh, this guy blew his brains out. Oh, I'm getting nothing. I'm doing all this dumb ghost hunting stuff. Then they meet with that guy from the opposing, ghost hunters and steal the file. And then he just puts his entire team in danger, like at every turn.
Mhm.
Yeah.
what's funny is that, like, in between those two scenes where they like everything is falling apart and then they go through and like meet the other ghost hunter, because I was watching it with ads on Amazon, it immediately flipped scenes and they went to a like a HIV like vaccine commercial, and it went so smoothly. I thought the commercial was part of the movie because there was just such that like eerie, like something's not right and it all feels fake, and like I was like, took me a minute to look down at the corner and be like, oh, this is an ad, this is not part of the film. I had to go through the whole ad.
Now I'm gonna pretend that's canon.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh, this just feels like one of those like schlocky, like, oh, they're just throwing in fake TV ads kind of thing. And no, that was an actual ad. It was so That was the most exciting thing that happened.
I thought that girl turning all like indestructible was okay with the contact lenses, but like what happened to the other guy? Did he just disappear for a while and then show up naked, shivering?
Who knows?
In
Look at those.
ill-defined.
Unknown.
It feels like there was a lot of stuff that's supposed to be there that's not there because nobody wanted to make the movie any longer than it already was.
It's not a true movie
that I
unless
thank
it's
them.
an hour 30 minutes.
No, we disagree. I have ADHD, and I appreciate if it's gonna be shitty, at least it be short. I'll still count you as a movie.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I am glad that it was short. I mean, it was short, but at least it was terrible. What'd you think of the monster, the out of focus monster?
I don't remember.
I don't remember it.
It was just two eyes like in the shadows or whatever.
Okay, so normally I like that shit. I do. Like Fright Night
Babadook and
has
shit.
little eyes. Yeah, and then I made a TikTok about the Exorcist, the new Exorcist poster, because you know the infamous stare scene. They've got one that has like two beady eyes. Those do it for me. This one obviously didn't, because I don't even have a mental visual of it.
No.
No.
Uh,
Yeah, no.
well, they end up saving everybody, but this monster needs a sacrifice because it's gotta happen. We gotta kill this shitty lead because they fall in love too, like instantly.
Yeah, very quickly.
I'm not into that. I'm
I'm not-
allergic.
Yeah.
Stupid as shit. I told you I didn't have a lot to say about it.
No.
Yeah. I think we can file this one away.
Tink. Goodbye.
Goodbye,
Okay.
Portal.
The next one is very controversial among the crew here. 1408.
Oh,
Delightful short film.
the first thing I want to say is I love John Cusack, and I've said it a lot in the chat lately. I love John Cusack.
He's Nick Cage with no energy.
Oh my God, you're right.
No.
Yeah.
No. He's no energy Mark Wahlberg.
No. 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 What Matt said.
Burn!
No.
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 I can't mix it. I know how you feel about The Happening, but I threw that away.
No. It's just the vibe that Mark Wahlberg has. Like, I can't name another Mark Wahlberg movie. I don't even like. I drove by. We had a Wahlburgers for a while, and I drove by the other day, and I saw it closed. I was like, yes, like finally. I can't stand any of them, but yeah, I just like Cusack is just like he's like in that bubble with like those really forgettable like Edward Norton and Mark Wahlberg and like all those people that I'm just like, why are you here? And you bring anything.
He's here for me.
But he's there for you, and he's allowed to be.
Yes.
I'll push back on that just a little. Like Mark Wahlberg, while he did commit a hate crime when he was young, this is true. It's pretty memorable performance in The Fighter. He's in those stupid Transformers movies.
Was he in The Fighter?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, he played Irish Mickey Ward. He is a really real shithead in The Departed.
I like The Departed, but I remember Mark Wahlberg most from Fear because I watched
Fear.
way too young to watch that movie. And have you two seen that?
We covered that over on that other thing, and yeah, we both gave it 2 fingers in.
Stop, Matt.
We were on a roller coaster at the time.
Yeah, no.
George and I. It was just the 2 of us. It was really weird. Made things awkward for the next week.
Guys, okay. You two haven't seen Fear?
No.
Mm-mm.
Oh, so
Okay,
good.
I'm gonna say it because you've never seen it. There's a very memorable scene. He's like a scary, abusive boyfriend to Reese Witherspoon, but he doesn't start out that way, obviously. They never do. There's a very scene where they go on a roller coaster together and he totally fingers her.
The whole soundtrack is all Bush too.
Yeah. It's wild. And I watched that when I was like an actual child.
Oh.
I think there's a couple wild horses song in there too.
Yes, there is.
It's a fun romp of that
It's
era.
intense. Yeah, it's an intense movie. So that's burned into my brain forever.
Well, let me in the fucking house.
Oh my God, he was so scary. Like he
So
was
good.
actually scary.
But 1408,
Oh, sorry.
kind of more of a musical, I thought. Did you guys watch it on YouTube, right?
I'm just
A
waiting.
couple of you
Yes.
did.
I did.
I did too. Interesting. I'll just say that.
Yeah, it's a very yellow film. It was like very jaundiced looking.
Did you guys watch the whole anthology?
We're squinting.
You mean all the endings?
No. There was this was a part of an anthology. There were other films. I noted a couple of them with titles like The End Has No End and Between Love and Hate. I watched a couple of those as well. This was definitely my second favorite from all the short films.
Matt, stop
Sorry.
trolling us. Nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about. That's the problem. It's like, I'm sure it's a funny joke if you know what the hell you're referring to, but
You don't know about the main cast with Julian and Albert? Directed by Roman Coppola. 2 minutes and 33-second short film.
this sounds nerdy as fuck, dude.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did find it on YouTube, but I accidentally just listened to that song 1251 by The Strokes and went down the entire track list. I'm sorry. Are you guys talking about the terrible film 1408 from 2007?
That one. That's the guy.
Thankfully, I saw that in 2007. It's still very fresh in my brain. We can go from there.
Yo, 2007. I was 17 years old.
Did you watch it in the theater?
I did not see that in the theater. No.
Aw.
I don't feel like I missed much.
No.
I would have
loved it.
I would have thought that you would have wanted Nick Cage in this role though. Steph.
I think Nick Cage would have crushed it, but the thing is that I also love John Cusack, and that's been a thing since, I saw Say Anything. So he's fine. It's
This
fine.
made me okay. I like John Cusack from High Fidelity. That was like a movie I watched a ton of times, and I really like that. I like that movie. I like John Cusack in that movie. This movie made me hate John Cusack. Honestly, it did the opposite for me. I was so fucking bored, and I didn't know what was going on, and I wanted to strangle him.
I
Sounds
thought
fun.
I thought that I liked John Cusack from Better Off Dead. And then I went and I bought the Blu-ray of Better Off Dead. And that was a mistake.
I don't even know that movie.
Oh, you'd recognize it. It's got some quotable lines. Have you ever heard someone say, "I want my $2"? It's from that. Or I'd buy that for $1. It's
Oh, it's
from that film.
1985.
It's not good, and this didn't really push him up in the rankings upon watching 1408 for me either.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to always agree with Al.
You don't have to be sorry. Elle has great opinions. I just am sometimes the odd person out, and I be aggressive about it.
Well, also, this is just one of those Stephen King boomer main characters that is just insufferable as fuck. And that's part of it. And it's just, he's so smarmy and he thinks he's so fucking smart. And and why is the room haunted? Like, we get
Yeah,
like,
that's
why? What's the fucking rules, guys? What's the rules? And
Stephen King, there is no rules.
well,
No,
no, but
actually,
Stephen
that's
King,
not always true.
Yeah.
Like he usually operates within, like a pretty
very good
framework.
lore mechanisms.
Yeah.
Okay, I stand corrected. Stephen King's short stories do not have the same level of rules as something like
True.
It
True.
or The Shining, because
It doesn't
there's
give
not
enough time to ramble.
is not enough. Yes, there is not enough space for 800 pages of exposition we don't need.
That part. And that's like my favorite thing, but he needs to ramble himself to the point.
Right.
Nice.
Here's the thing. I have DNF'd every single Stephen King book I have tried to read. I cannot stand the way Stephen King writes. I love his characters. I love the concepts. I love the settings, but the execution kills me, which is why my sister got me this based on the novel by Stephen King shirt, because when it's in movie form, when it's shorter, when it's more compact, when they have the ability to like focus in on the things that don't need 800 pages, I'm like, okay, cool, I really enjoyed this. And so I was hoping that 1408 would be that kind of thing, and I was like, man, I can't with this movie.
It's just
Probably the short story thing.
Yeah.
And I have to say, like, his longer movies, or yeah, his movies that are based on longer books, they're not always like true to the book. I go pretty
Right.
ham about it. And then also, what's the other one?
it does.
Oh, ham about the newer It, because it pisses me off.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Understandably so. Not like a lot of the adaptations of Stephen King's work aren't very like on with the book. Except for like, I don't know.
Well, not even The Shining. Like Kubrick just said probably
Yeah.
the same thing Al said, and he said, "We're not going to do that," and he started a war that ended up
Right.
being, but still, he was
And
like,
I don't like The Shining, for the record. That's the one,
the
like,
book or the movie.
the movie.
You might like the book.
Yeah.
Well, and here I think I was one of the ones I DNF'd, because I DNF'd, it was The Shining, Doctor Sleep, It,
Oh,
the Dark Tower, first book. Maybe I didn't finish the first book. I tried like, what is it, that with a cop one that he had? I tried the Green Mile. I've tried the whole spectrum, because I was like, and Carrie, like I've tried like decades in genre, like giving it a fair shot, and none of it has just done anything for
I
me.
DNF'd The Shining, and we were supposed to read it for this podcast. I didn't finish that shit.
I did that with Dr. Sleep, but
I read
for a
it.
good reason. My aunt was in hospice at the time, so that was hard for me.
Yes, Matt.
Can I touch back on the rules situation? Like
Yeah.
not understanding the rules. So how is Samuel Jackson haunted at the end? Was it the possessions that he had?
I just finished it. I was literally holding the iPad when I opened Zoom.
Mhm.
I forgot about that. I don't know. Maybe it was inside the tape recorder. There were ghosts in it.
So when I said that I enjoyed this film, I was actually referring to that song by The Strokes that I liked. I absolutely hated this film.
Why would you do that to me?
I'm sorry.
Uh,
It's too long. And
It is long, but I wasn't mad about it.
I just like, I don't know. It's just a room. I don't get it. I don't get
And
it.
I think that's the thing that disappoints me so much about this movie, is that my like second favorite subgenre of horror is like apartment horror. I love that small isolated box setting, and hotels have that same kind of vibe, and it's also a writer character, and it deals with grief, and I'm like, this has every element of things that I love, but the execution, John Cusack ruined it.
What's that one movie, Devil, where they're trapped in an elevator?
The elevator, that movie is slaps. I like
Yeah,
that.
never seen
that's
it.
decent.
Seen that, but
Yeah, that's
I was like,
decent.
I like those like small, like, or there's that one they did that was like in a little like phone booth thing. I think it was like a foreign film that the whole movie took place inside of a phone booth, and like the things were coming at them in the night, and they had to like survive till the morning in the phone. Like, I love stuff like that, but it's just like, I'm like, man, this is not good.
Let me defend myself for a second, because I just realized that all I said is that I love John Cusack. That's not the reason why I like this
Yeah,
movie.
it's not enough.
And I'm not saying it to actually like make anybody agree with me or whatever, justify it, because I like fucked up shit. I like the Ginger Dead Man versus Evil Bong. I like Evil Bong, and those are trash. But I like the whole scene with Samuel L. Jackson trying to convince him not to stay in the room. I like that so very much. And I don't mind everything that happens inside the room.
One of my notes in my little notebook is more Samuel L. Jackson, please.
I would have liked for the roles to be reversed. I was liked
thinking the same thing.
John Cusack to be the hotel manager and put Samuel L. Jackson in the room.
I was thinking the
I
same
think
thing.
it may have been a stronger delivery.
Well, and especially with like how smarmy the character is and how
Oh,
like
yeah.
cocky and confident, it would have felt so much smoother and so much more believable coming from someone like Samuel L. Jackson.
Right. Throw in a couple motherfuckers and it's perfect.
But
Yep.
look at how quick he, like, for being this like really seasoned, like investigator, or not even investigator, but like author, like he loses his shit real quick.
I
Like,
have the same thing. I said, one, his crying face is so bad, and I put also, we're 37 minutes in and he's spiraling already. He talks a big game and the payoff isn't worth it. One thing happens and he's done. And it's like,
He's like, oh, like pees his pants.
right.
I would have peed my pants earlier than that. Not gonna lie. But the ghost probably would have said hello to me from the lobby because I'm extra sensitive. But I kept saying through this whole movie, wow, it's a really good opportunity to leave now. Wow, I wouldn't have done that. Wow, I'm not going up there. Wow, I'm not doing that.
that was the one scene I liked, when he went up in the vents and he didn't run across John McClane, but he ran across that weird looking corpse guy.
Oh yeah, he was gross. He looked like what is that wax movie?
He broke apart like a terracotta warrior.
House of Wax.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm curious to know what film this reminded you of, because it not fully, but I got vibes. I sent it in group that it reminded me a little bit of 13 Ghosts, just in specific parts.
I love
Can I tell
13
you guys
Ghosts. That
a
movie's a mess.
Can I tell you guys a secret?
Huh.
13 Ghosts I watched when I was like a kid and it scared me so bad. The big baby fucked with me.
I actually thought 13 Ghosts too for two reasons. First, we had Tony Shalhoub, and second, we had that thing when he turns the lock. That
Yeah,
like lock
that shot,
mechanism.
yeah.
That made me think 13 Ghosts as well. But other than that,
I didn't like 13 Ghosts either. The only reason I tuned in was for M. Beth Davids.
I don't
She
remember
gets,
anything about it.
she gets her
13
face
Ghosts.
smushed between the
Oh, yeah.
rotating doors and shit. It's
You guys-
awesome.
I wanted to like 13 Ghosts. It's just like it was one of those movies where like the lore was so cool, but they didn't bring it together with the story, and it was really disappointing for me. That's how
I think
13
that's the
Ghosts
biggest
was.
complaint that I hear for most people about that movie, is that there was just so much potential, and apparently almost all of the excess lore that you need about the ghosts are in the special features. There's like a
Mhm.
documentary
Yeah.
in the special features in the
Yep.
DVD that goes into all of that, and it's like, well, that would have been cool to have in the movie.
Well, they're gonna
Okay.
make a TV series about it now.
Yeah, for like
Really?
the story to be a little
Oh.
better. You
Really?
know?
Fun.
I also love how he like checks in and like the first thing he does is look for porn. I'm like, yeah, go crank one off for the ghost, bud.
You know what? I actually said I am ashamed, but I was I immediately said, "No, that's on my bucket list." Watching porn in a haunted room, and
Hell
Freddy's.
yeah.
That's an interesting bucket list.
It reminds me, you saying that reminds me of that fake trailer that came out some years back called was it called Hand Job Cabin or something?
What?
I don't
You don't know
know.
about that? Oh, yeah, I gotta send it to you guys. It's
Yeah.
so stupid.
Put it in chat.
There's like this ghost that just jerks all the guys off in this cabin, and like it won't stop. Like,
The fuck, man.
Imagine
so-
that's playing in
Don't
14
put that in chat. Don't put
Put
that
it
in.
in chat.
No.
I'll send it to Steph, and she can be the judge if she wants to send it to you or not. All right.
Okay.
It's pretty funny, actually.
I also think another thing, again, this character is, but like he's like, oh, I'm being dosed. He dosed me with the alcohol. He keeps drinking it.
No.
Well, yeah, and I also, another note I had was like, I want people to know it was an accident if I wind up dead, and he puts the recorder in his pocket, so if he falls, he's gonna crush it.
Smash
I
it.
thought
I was
that
like, this dude
too.
is stupid.
Thing's indestructible, though. It survived that fire.
Yeah, you know.
It's because it's haunted now. That's where the ghosts are. I'm telling you, that's how Sammy got haunted. They came from inside the tape recorder.
I can
See,
buy
I
it.
didn't even get that in the ending that I saw. There was there's all the last of Samuel L. Jackson is him sitting there twirling his liquor around and going, "Good job, Mr. Insulin," and then that's it. And then you don't see him
Yes.
again.
Oh, You
so
just reminded me.
corny.
Wow, that's not the
You
ending
know,
I got.
That's
no,
the
the-
ending
my-
I got.
Yeah, my ending was literally just like, oh, then they reconcile their marriage and they're moving in together, and then they hear Katie's voice on the recorder, and then John Cusack looks into the camera like he's bored of existing, and then it ends.
I was
Breaks the
bored of
fourth wall.
existing too.
Right, same.
I watched it on YouTube and
Same.
not the one I
Same.
saw.
There must
Did you
be
rent it
multiple.
though? Because
No.
I got the free one.
I got the free one. I also do have YouTube Premium though, and so it doesn't like cuts out all the like commercials and like extra stuff. So I don't know how all that affects what gets seen. But I just watched it on straight on YouTube,
Well,
and I got the theatrical cut.
I'm looking at the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you hated this movie because this man's name was Michael. And it was
Fair.
giving you worry.
I hated it because it kept making me think about diabetes.
As
Because
a
of his last name.
diabetic, same.
Ins-
Same.
insulin.
Yes.
My notes said I was done 47 minutes into the movie. Like that's where they should have cut it. I agree with Steph where like I did like that scene at the beginning. Like I was coming into this like aside from the boomer character, I was like why does Matt hate this so much? And then we get into the room and it's just nothing makes sense. I don't know why any of this is happening. It's all like this stuff with his daughter dying. Like I get what they're trying to do there, but without like giving us an emotional attachment to the character in some way, with him being such an insufferable asshole, it just feels like a cheap play again. So whenever there's like suffering of a child or something put in there, if there's not a good reason emotionally and like a good tie into the story for me, it feels cheap, and then I get annoyed and then I start picking the movie apart, and that's what happened here.
Oh, I didn't. I already know that you feel that way because I knew you very well. But it didn't feel that way to me because he was so aggressively like against the stuff he was writing. And so we're just like, why is he shitty? Like, why is he so shitty all the time?
Stay
And
scared.
yeah, but just like talking out of his belly button, like, you know, and that girl was trying to engage with his like book that he doesn't talk about very much, his first book that's obviously about his daddy issues, even though he says that it's not. And I think that it just, you know,
So I took that as it was about his grief.
it could be. I think it's up to interpretation.
And everyone's like, the dad's an asshole. He's the dad.
Yeah, he's
Like-
the dad. That's what I was thinking.
Okay. I
That's-
still think it could have
I
been
think
about his daddy issues.
I think it's about him, his childhood, and his dad.
I'm going to
Yeah.
get a pack of cigarettes.
I just, because I mean, like, this guy obviously has a lot of stuff that he keeps close, but I just feel like sometimes that shit happens. And I don't think that it was like overly gratuitous, like throwing the dead kid in your faces. They don't do, you know, there are movies we've seen that are like that. Yeet
Yeah.
the dead kid at you. I feel like it was just like enough to show like why he's a dickhead writer. And he's an alcoholic, you know?
Yeah,
And a
but it
shitty
doesn't-
dad.
But it
And it
doesn't.
should be dad. Like Stephen King did cocaine, you guys. He's just dealing with his sick
But when
dead
you
child.
said that though, Steph, all I can think of is fucking Metalocalypse and I'm Dr. Roxo. I do cocaine.
Like,
Do you remember when you said that he was talking out of his belly button?
yeah, I said
Uh,
that.
I'd rather be watching a film where they're shoving Betamax tapes into their belly button. Videodrome.
Well,
You ever seen that?
No, but that
No.
sounds hilarious.
It's got Debbie Harry and shit. What's the fucking
you're gonna need to make us a list.
something
Yes.
Wood? James Wood. Oh, it's good.
Oh no.
God.
No, we don't fuck with James Woods. If James Woods is in it, we're roasting him aggressively and immediately.
Okay.
That's fine, but Debbie Harry's in it. That's all you need to know.
Okay.
I think Matt needs to make us a list of like education films that we need to have.
To understand me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you're gonna nail one with Bud the Chud.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
excited
I
for
forgot
that.
about
I
that.
did put Bud the Chud on my list. I changed it.
Just listen to the Foley work when he takes a bite out of somebody. It sounds like somebody just bit an apple.
I haven't recovered from the first one.
I actually,
Chud.
the reason why I thought of Bud the Chud is because I just edited that episode for YouTube, and
Yeah.
I was like, God, I forgot about Bud the Chud. We gotta get that in there. We gotta get that in the rotation.
Yay.
This is not Bud the Chud is not a Chud movie. Just be warned.
You did warn us.
You did, yeah.
Okay, okay.
It's got to be better than this. I'm sorry. And the other thing about this is it had so much money and so much production and like good actors, A-list actors, and I still feel like it didn't, and Stephen King, and it didn't tell me a story that left me thinking about anything.
I told you my favorite part was Isaiah Whitlock, the guy from The Wire that goes, shit. He was the guy that was sent up to fix the thermostat or whatever.
He said, I'm not going in there.
I'm not going in there. It's fucking great, dude. I love that guy.
Smart. He is me. I am him. We're not going in there. I still like the movie. Yeah, it's not like one I'm gonna crack open all the time, but every couple of years, I'm gonna watch 1408.
It's okay to like a movie.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, thanks for the validation, guys.
No, that's a stolen line from Eric Siska off of We Hate Movies. This guy always says it's okay to like a movie. I'm not going to take credit for that.
I just want to support Steph and that she knows that sometimes I have very mean opinions about movies and they're not reflecting on like whoever likes it. It's okay. We like what we like. There's I like lots of weird shit. I mean Metal Angels rolling around here somewhere.
No, don't bring it in.
I also have See No Evil with Kane. I don't actually like this movie, but I'm gonna watch it again sometime because it's hilarious.
You like the wrestler Santa wrestler Grandpa.
I fucking
Santa.
love Santa Slay. I would go to war for
Santa
that movie.
Goldberg.
Okay.
Santa Goldberg.
Yeah, I'm not into it. I don't like that. No.
The legend.
But it's fine that you do. That's the moral of the story, kids. Please, let's move on.
Well, I do want to do my recommendation for a movie that if you like the concept of 1408, but actually want to have it actually be enjoyable, because I was racking my brain. I was like, I feel like I've just watched this movie, but I liked the version that I saw. And weirdly enough, the new Haunted Mansion remake, the Disney movie, is literally everything 1408 wanted to be. The main character is a photographer. Of course, because it's a Disney movie, his wife is dead. Of course, she doesn't live.
Obviously.
Right, of course, she's a woman in a Disney film. She doesn't live. But the thing is that she used to run ghost tours in New Orleans. And when she passed away, he continued to take that over because she was passionate about it. And he has an introductory scene where he's drinking, he's cranky, and he has these people that go up like, oh, you're the guy who does the ghost tour things. Tell us what's the scariest place you've ever seen. And literally just like in 1408, he goes, oh, because I haven't been asked that question before. And he goes off on these people of like, their ghosts aren't real, this is all BS, nothing exists, we're all dirt and everything sucks. And so he literally is the same character as Mike Inslin. The difference is that when he comes in, he even does the thing where he takes money from people. He is like, hey, we have this haunted mansion, bet you don't want to come and take a look at it. And he goes in and takes a look at it, and he goes, haha, this is, nothing's happening, I'm going to take these people's money and leave because I need to get paid, this is my job. The mansion takes a hold of him and won't let him leave. Every time he thinks he gets out, he's pulled back in, and he has to deal with the grief, and he starts to realize, oh, there is an afterlife, there are spirits. And so literally beat for beat, it's almost the same as 1408, but you have Lakeith Stanfield, who is fine as hell, and he looks great in that movie, but he's compelling enough to, when he portrays that grief, I don't cry. I was sobbing in the theater when he finally starts to go through those motions. And it feels rewarding to when it gets to those points of like, oh, he's grieving and the spirits are real. And so it feels like it's everything that 1408 wanted to be, but it was done well, which really makes the comment that Mike makes at his book thing of like, oh, you want to see an actual real ghost? Go to see Haunted Mansion in Disneyland.
Hilarious.
It's almost like it knew. But it was very much, I'm sitting there going like, this is the same movie as 1408, but better.
But also that cements what we said earlier about how it may have been better if Samuel L. Jackson was in his place
Exactly.
and John Cusack played the hotel manager.
Mm.
And also Haunted Mansion has Danny DeVito in it. So how
Yep.
could it not be better?
Right, exactly. You
Right.
can't.
Love
But it is.
Danny DeVito.
It has that same thing, and I think that again, 1408 could have been so much better if you had somebody that you could resonate with the grief. Because with
Yeah.
John Cusack, he's just an asshole and he's insufferable and you don't like him. So when he gets to that point where he like is grieving, you understand what's going on. You're just like, okay, when is his head gonna get smashed in the wall so I can be done with him?
Yeah.
Because like you're done with it. But when it comes to like Haunted Mansion and similar stories that are like that, it's like, oh, you can resonate with this and you're feeling the empathy, and it just didn't have that. Which for a movie like 1408, which is about grief, I feel like you need to be able to empathize with your
Yeah.
characters.
It's also probably because his name is Michael. I'm just gonna put that out
Well,
there.
Stephen King writes characters like this all the time. Like most of his main characters are this boomer asshole. The difference is when you are reading a book, you
Mhm.
have like I don't know, you just have like a bigger grasp of the longer scope of his story and to why he's an asshole, because people aren't just assholes just like they come out of the womb like that.
Right.
They're assholes because life fucks them over.
Yep.
So in a book you have that context. And we get this somewhat, but at the point in time where they give us the context of it, we already hate him. So it doesn't matter. And I think that that's where this goes wrong, is they needed to nuance Stephen King's character in order to do this, because this is just a character that I've read in every Stephen King book that I've read.
Yeah, he feels very similar to like the Misery situation. He's cranky, he's unsufferable, he's done
James
with
Bond.
everything. Yeah, but he's phenomenal in the role. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, you actually like, I want you to get out, I want you to survive. And I'm sitting there like watching 1408. I'm like, can John Cusack just like fall off this ledge yet?
Steph,
Yeah.
did you watch the one with the same ending as me? Since it sounds like you two watched the happy
the-
ending, right?
Yeah, I
Were
watched
there
the happy
ghosts?
ending.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
it was a happy
died
ending.
in the one I watched.
Yeah, he
Good.
died. And so the
Aw.
part that I talked about earlier was Samuel Jackson being haunted.
Yeah.
Like he's outside the funeral and like
Okay.
he tries to return like some of the burned goods to the wife, you know, like including the
Mhm.
tape recorder. And she's like, "No, I don't want to. I want to remember him, you know, how I remember him."
Not burning to death. In a
Right,
hotel.
right. So he gets back into the car, Samuel L. Jackson does, and he like cues up the tape. And then, do you want to talk about what happens, Steph?
No.
He sees a burnt up John Cusack behind him, and that's why I was like, does the
Oh.
haunting follow him and whatever? It's stupid.
That's a better ending though than the one that we got, because the one we
Yeah.
got, it was just like everything's gonna be fine.
I
Mhm.
want yours. I wanted yours.
Well, it didn't make sense, especially to
This
me,
one didn't
like
either.
the Molotov
Yeah.
cocktail thing, like just that's the way I play D&D, okay? If I feel challenged slightly in D&D, I burn everything down.
That is
I don't want that
absolutely
in a
not.
movie. I
That
don't
is
want that.
that is not how you play D&D. Don't lie to these people. That's
Oh,
not
are you kidding me? I actually got
You
in trouble
play
with
with
my DM
weird
because the
stuff.
last time, well, I do weird stuff first, but when the weird stuff fails and the monsters come for me, I just start burning things. This is a problem my DM has directly with me. And he said, "Why do you always catch things on fire?" And I said, "Because I'm not going to win here. So I'm
Do you
going to
want-
burn the monster down."
You guys want someone that'll do some weird D&D stuff? I'm your guy.
Yeah. We need to do another campaign on this podcast.
Yeah,
eventually.
let's do one.
I've never played. I want to.
Well, we did Call of Cthulhu on this.
Mhm. Can I get out in front of this really quick and defend my putting it at the top?
I
The
respect
creature.
it.
The
Huh?
guy. That's why, right? The guy. That was kind of compelling.
Mm,
The peeping Tom. I don't know.
yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
The idea behind it, like using found footage to tell a urban legend story, is compelling. The idea of finding a
Mhm.
shoebox, like for found footage, and like recreating it and becoming obsessed with it. I like the idea of like the film actually being haunted. That would be better. But like the problem I have, the story inside the story is that they caught this thing with a camera, and the camera's the thing is actually the peeping Tom is actually, why don't we smash the camera? Why don't we throw the camera away?
We did. Even took the battery out. They
Well,
magically showed back up.
I don't. Well,
Yeah.
then what's the rules then? Then we broke the rules. I don't know. I guess maybe I blinked out at one point. This was
What?
incredibly long.
Yeah, it did feel very long. I think one of the other things too is that I think they even do have a self-aware moment in it, because I'm pretty sure they're saying that we don't understand, like when they're trying to do, he's trying to show it to the ghost hunting Facebook group, and they're like, what are the rules? This makes no sense. Like
Yeah.
I think they're self-aware enough of that to like pull those things in, but it's also like you also have to give us a little bit of something tangible instead of just like writing yourself into a corner to
Well,
where
or be funny.
right.
Do something funny
Yeah,
then.
there's something funny about okay, but I did think it was funny. I do think this concept is funny. Okay, I mean not ha ha funny, but like it's funny. That this thing like you have to first of all not blink for an hour. So
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
fucking ridiculous. Okay. And then once it magically appears, like you only have so many fucking blinks until it gets you. But joke's on you because this motherfucker will come up and give you butterfly kisses with his lashes to make you blink. Hello?
It was pretty goofy. I'll give you that.
It's so goofy. Yeah.
There's the other thing about it is like, all right, I would enjoy a good urban legend movie.
Mhm.
Yes, same.
I
Mhm.
fucking hate found footage. I'm sorry. It's just like it's not my thing. So for me to take these 3 films and put this one at the top, that's saying something about the other 2.
Yeah. I like
VHS. I think Heidi is hilarious. I
Okay.
think Creep is good. Creep is funny. The fucking werewolf mask rubbing his ass on the door
Narrating.
scene like that is it for me. But I also like Noroi the Curse, which is like a
Mhm.
Japanese found footage
And it's
film.
actually
I like Lake Mungo. Lake Mungo's.
I did
don't like
not.
this Mungo.
Well,
Not
and
a
I
fan.
think for me, it's that that was one of
You're
the
allowed
first
to.
ones that I saw, and so
Yeah.
for me, I was kind of like the stepping stone into like, oh, okay, found footage is an actually semi interesting thing going on. It's not great, but I also really enjoy it.
There are actually like, oh my god, the background.
So
It
this
all comes back to Danny DeVito.
Listen, there are a lot of people who like Mungo,
Mm-hmm.
especially like, in the horror community. I subscribe to like a lot of horror groups on Facebook because what
Yeah.
else are you gonna use Facebook for? And it's like highly rated amongst people. It's just that for me, it just wasn't what like I was expecting. It's like just like real life weird and disturbing, like if that's your kid, not necessarily like people are saying like it's the scariest found footage, and I'm like, how? But
And I think I was actually having a conversation with somebody on Twitter about this, of like the difference between like the main tropes in different horror. Like America is like, we're supposed to feel safe in this place, and now it's getting like polluted, and everything in Britain is like, well, what if people actually aren't as nice as they say they are? And then there's just something about like Australia, just like that open wilderness and things happening in
Spiders.
your own backyard that there's like things that you don't understand. And so I think culturally it probably is a very terrifying thing, because it's lots of wide open wilderness and like places you're supposed to feel safe with your neighbors, and they have just like a different aspect of like how they look at those sorts of things. Because like for us, we're just like, I would never be out camping, letting my teenagers go camping in a ravine in the middle of nowhere, Australia, with their friends.
The reason I have this is because they actually bring the guy from Blair Witch in to pretty much call it the movie derivative on the phone with it.
The director guy, right?
Yeah.
And then they actually like interview him documentary style too, as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also something that I didn't really work out for me, was like the documentary about the found footage about the urban legend. Like it's just like
It was a lot of layers.
it was
we
a
could have
big
done
stretch.
without that, I feel.
Yeah.
Like just focusing on the what were they, like college students working on this thing? I feel like they could have done a lot more with that, enhance that. Don't worry about there's like weird marital problems with the the man with the newsboy cap and like stealing his wife's money to make that was fucked up.
He's
The
hateable.
secondhand cringe that I got, that when he sat down and his kid refused to hug him and they started talking about their problems, I fast forwarded because I couldn't handle
He said,
the
I'm embarrassed.
cringe. I was like, I can't. Like, it's so uncomfortable.
He was a very hateable character, and I also like how much resistance he seemed to get, like with trying to tell the story. Like that was compelling to the point where he went to that, I think it was with the paranormal groups. He was like in a meeting with them. And somebody was saying, or maybe it wasn't that, but he was getting like complaints that were like, you're fake, and then complaints that were like the complete opposite, like you're profiting off of the death of these people. Well, if it's fake, then how is he profiting off of the death of them? It's like, it felt like at some point they were just trying to lob stuff at him for the sake of conflict without really like giving us, like, again, there's the backbone of the story is broken there, because it's just,
they could have just hated him just for him being icky in general.
the hat was enough. Like
the hat.
And the sonic screwdriver Doctor Who tattoo on his arm. Yeah.
That was on, okay, because this was like the fucking blinking, the weeping angels.
I did the same thing. I was like, this feels like Doctor Who, and I saw his sonic screwdriver tattoo, and I
didn't see the screwdriver, but
I did not.
Matt.
What?
I thought you said something.
I forgot already.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I got nothing. I didn't like him at all.
No. And the problem is that like 70% of people in my family are professional like filmmakers. Like they have won Emmys and they've done multiple movies, and the Netflix TV calls them for when they have TV shows to film. And so I am around those people, and it's so accurate. I think that was the reason why I couldn't handle the cringe level so much, is because I know these people, and
they're cringy.
Like Paperboy Cap Dude exists, and I have been to like Kentucky Derby parties with him. Like
that's the scariest thing I've heard on this podcast.
Yikes.
Like they're like that because they have that kind of like heightened artistic sense of the world, and they think that they're just like, oh, that's how it is. And like most of them are not like that, but those kinds of people do exist, and they're very.
Do they all steal from their wives?
I don't think many of them are married.
Their kids college fund or whatever.
Yeah. Do their kids also hate them?
Most of them don't have kids because it's a lot of traveling.
Good idea.
Just so you guys all know, for the last little bit of this movie, I did have to cut my eyelids off to be able to watch it.
They grew back really fast.
Yeah.
I'm just standing like to the side, so it's like an optical illusion that looks like I have eyelids.
Well, can we talk about how in the end credit scene where they like go to her and she's like done whatever it is to her eyes, that she literally just sits there like slowly brushes her hair out of the way so you can see the eye makeup. Like, what are you doing? She's just like, I can't. Like, nobody can act in this movie. Which I mean, it's a mockumentary, so like, there's supposed to be a level of, like, these people can't act, but these people can't act. And
they can't act like they can't act. That's the problem. And the thing is, okay, so this is the review that I found, and I've got to share this with you guys. Intensely compelling, superbly acted.
Lies.
Superbly acted. This is on fucking Rotten Tomatoes. I was like,
but they did that themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Their friends.
It's a plant. Superbly acted. That's the last thing I would say. Like, I can defend the idea behind this. I even found some I think it was 2015. There were some Reddit posts where obviously the people who made this film went back and like posted stuff on like cryptid Reddit about the Blink Man, trying to build up the urban legend, which is kind of cool. That's a cool way of viral marketing. But the rest of it derailed. Like it's just,
I think it's because they tried to do the story within a mockumentary, and I think that there was just way too much. They bit off more than they could chew, and spit it up all over.
About the Blank Man, very troublesome film with Damon Wayans.
Oh god.
Oh,
It's
I have-
problematic.
I didn't take many notes on this one. I have
None.
no gravitas films. Oh no, she can't act. Oh no, nobody can act. And then I have my train trestle cryptid from back home doesn't take as many like much energy to manifest. So you suck, Peeping Tom. That's about all the more I had.
do you know, I took 2 notes during this entire situation watching these 3 movies, and you know what they are? They're both for Portal.
Mm.
One says Ryan Merriman, and the other one says "Make America Native Again" hat. Wow.
Oh, that.
About Portal, way more immersive than I thought it would be. Just
Are
drawing
you
those,
talking about the game?
drawing those circles on the wall and shit.
Must have been hard work.
Hey, listen, I took way more notes on the song 1251 by The Strokes than I did on any of these movies. I
believe you.
I have a full page.
Wow.
I could have gone on. I was gonna ask you guys about the title card and everything, but I'll hold back on it.
I think that was something I did have a note for 1408 was why is the font so boring? And then he came into the first bed and breakfast after the rain. I was like, also, why is he so dry? And why are there so many rugs? And then he's giving
so
Keaton and white noise.
What's so funny is that usually I make those comments. It's raining outside. Why is he so dry? One time we were watching a Dario Argento movie in the early days of this podcast, and this bitch gets out the shower and puts a towel on, and I was like, ew, she's not gonna dry off first. And Elle says, that's a very Virgo thing to say.
Well, yeah, yes.
Has
into the house dripping? Ew.
Speaking of that, has Tenebrae been covered on the show?
Yes.
It has.
I missed some of my favorite movies.
Listen,
Well, we did that on 31 Days of Horror, so we could come back and do a full
cover a
episode.
whole.
Yeah. If you
Ooh.
wanted to sometime, Matt, we definitely could. All 3 of
We
these
don't have
movies were not like
No.
you've got my ranking, but I'm sure like next week it's gonna change.
Yeah, we like to have a really good time in October. This is literally when the season restarts. This is literally like when I come alive. We love spooky season. We do. So
And again, you can knock all 4 of the movies out in or 3 of the movies out in like 4 hours. So at least it's not like a long commitment to watch all 3 of these movies.
if you want
That's
your
true.
brain to melt
Yeah.
and spill out of your ears, then yes, watch it all in one sitting.
I
I
say
made-
save yourself the time and don't watch any of them.
Yeah.
I had Portal on in the background while
Rip
I was
to my
making
brain.
bath bombs, and it was a nice background noise to have on.
I also had it on in the background while I was doing work. So
Yeah.
Steph, I'm sending you hand job cabin right now.
Thank you.
I was writing poetry. I can't do
gotta
one
find it.
fucking thing at a time, so
No, yeah.
That's why I'm looking up a fake trailer right now. I can't do one thing at a time.
One thing about us, we're gonna dilly dally. Thank you for sitting through our dilly dally.
That's what-
You can find this podcast on the interwebs at ghostmagazine.site or on Twitter at GITM Podcasts. You can find me on Twitter at WitchXPudding.
you can find me at Nocturnical.
I'm usually pretty good at coming up with these on the fly, but you can find me at the end of a train tunnel.
Oh my God, giving
I
better
didn't-
this.
I'm usually better than that. I'm sorry.
That's how bad these movies were. You can't even come up with a good good bit. You can find me on Twitter at MayBeMockingbird and on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky, all that fun stuff as Maybe Mockingbird.
Okay, bye.